Hey there, my name's Jessica and I'm a 38-year-old woman. My life has been full of ups and downs and I've learned a lot through them. I just got a text from someone who was the cause of one of my biggest downs in life. And I'm in a place where I can laugh at the past right now. So I decided that I would share my story with anyone who wanted to listen. Everything started back in college when I met my ex-husband, Jackson. Jackson and I were part of the same friend group and we spent a lot of time together because of it. We got along really well and had a chemistry like no other. So it came as no shock that we started dating. We dated for a couple of years and after we graduated, we moved in together. By this time, we had introduced each other to our parents and I thought that I was fairly welcome by his mother, Vanya. Jackson was raised by a single mother. I remember the first time that I met her, Jackson warned me that his mother tended to be overly critical of the girls he dated because she only wanted the best for him. I was very nervous to meet her, but aside from a few snide remarks from Vanya, I like to think that the meeting went off perfectly well. Well, I didn't really have much time to woo Vanya even more because just a few months after Jackson and I graduated, I got pregnant with our first kid. Jackson and I eloped and it was one of the best days of my life. My pregnancy, however, was tough, not only physically but mentally too. I was worried about how my career would suffer, but Jackson had been a pillar of support for me. After I gave birth to our first child, Vanya took a liking to me. She was nice and caring until she found out that a year after giving birth, I decided to go back to work. Vanya had a huge issue with me working. She believed that it was my duty as a woman to be a homemaker who only looked after her husband and children. She became openly aggressive towards me and never took me seriously whenever I tried to talk to her about it. I tried to get Jackson to talk to Vanya on my behalf as well, but he never took me seriously. Eventually, I learned to just live with the rude remarks and comments. That was until about 4 years after the birth of our first child, I got pregnant with our second child. I had to quit my job once again, and Vanya became nice to me all over again. I knew that Vanya's niceness was only because I was becoming her ideal type of wife. But at the same time, I was grateful to have her off my back. Like the time before, I went back to work after a year after giving birth, and Vanya went right back to being a jerk to me. Only it got way worse because she thought I was being neglectful of 2 children and my husband. Keep in mind that I never actually neglected them. I took care of them and worked. When I was working, I dropped them off at a good daycare. Anyway, after things settled down on my next birthday, I decided to host a birthday dinner because it had been a while since I got to celebrate my birthday. I invited a few friends and family, including Vanya and Jackson, and I decided to go a little crazy with the celebration. We had planned a 4-course meal and had live entertainment. Halfway through the party, I happened to see Vanya pull Jackson aside to the balcony. Now, I know I shouldn't have gone closer to eavesdropping, but there was a feeling in my gut telling me to listen in. So I blended in with the guests and made my way over to where they were having their conversation. "Hey, honey, can I talk to you for a second?" "Yeah, of course, Mom. Is everything okay? If this is about the hors d'oeuvre, then don't worry. I made sure that we got some vegetarian options for you." No, it's not about that, although I am grateful that you got them." "Of course. It's Jessica's birthday and she wanted to make sure that everyone that's invited gets to eat." "Well, I wanted to talk to you about Jessica." "Oh, what about her?" "I don't know how to tell you this exactly, but..." "Don't be scared, just tell me." "She's cheating on you." "What?" "I know. It came as a big shock to me too. And I just wanted to tell you because I didn't think it was right for me to hide something so big from you." "How do you even know that she is?" Hasn't she been a little too absent recently? Sure, but she just picked up extra shifts to cover for all of our bills and expenses. Did she really? Or is that just a ruse for her to cheat on you? I mean, she has been bringing in more money, so I don't think so. Sweetie, hasn't she been working at the same company for a long while now? Don't you think she must have just got a promotion? Why would she need to pick up extra shifts? Besides, you two make a good amount of money together. There's no real need for the extra income. You're not wrong. I mean, she has been weirdly distant emotionally as well. She always told me that she was being that way because she was tired from working for so long, but I never expected this. Oh, honey, it's always the people you least expect. No, I refuse to believe this. You have no evidence and everything just seems circumstantial. She's the mother of my kids, for crying out loud. How do you even know that they're your kids? Both times that she announced that she was pregnant, weren't you away on business trips? She would never. Look, no matter what happens, I want you to know that I will always be here for you. I think you deserve a better life. I didn't think that Jessica was capable of doing something like this, but unfortunately, this is our reality. Maybe I'll just have a conversation with her about this. Use a little common sense, sweetie. Why in the world would she admit to this? She'll always conveniently come up with reasons as to why I'm wrong. I can't. I don't know what to do. Take your time and think about it. If you need me to find you another woman to be with after her, I can do that for you. I know that nothing cures a broken heart better than love after all. I honestly couldn't believe my ears. Why was Vanya trying to sabotage my relationship with Jackson? Did she really hate me that much? I was too shocked to even think about it. I spent the rest of the night in a haze. I hoped that Jackson might approach me after the night ended, but he didn't. Over the next few days, I kept hoping that he would approach me about it. Now, before you wonder why I didn't approach him myself, I did not want to make him think that I was eavesdropping, so my concerns were invalid. I wanted him to openly talk to me, even if that meant asking me if I had actually cheated on him. But that never happened. A few days turned into a few weeks. Both Jackson and I had this location tracking app that we used whenever one of us was running late from work or if one of us was out till late at night. Thanks to it, I knew that Jackson had been frequently visiting Vanya after work, around 3 to 4 times a week. That only meant that she must have been further poisoning his mind. Finding that out only made me angrier and more resilient in my decision to not be the one who confronted the topic first. I struggled a lot during those weeks because not only was Jackson not there to help me take care of our children because of his frequent visits to Vanya, but he was also not there mentally. He gradually stopped speaking to me and then to our kids as well. I began to grow tired of constantly creating reasons for why Jackson wasn't talking to my children when they asked. I reached my breaking point one night when I had to deal with both of them being sick at the same time and Jackson hadn't been home. And when he returned, he went straight to his office. I knew that I couldn't keep going that way. So when we were getting ready for bed that night, I broke down and asked him to tell me what was wrong. Jackson, could you please just tell me what's wrong? There's nothing wrong. If you're going to lie to me, at least make an effort to make the lie seem believable. I don't know how else to tell you that there's nothing wrong. You've barely spoken to me unless I've started a conversation with you. Even then, you never really talk to me properly. On top of that, you aren't even speaking to our kids. Of course there's something wrong. Look, there's only so many times I can tell you that there's nothing wrong. Tell me honestly, does your attitude have anything to do with the conversation you had with Vanya on my birthday? Were you eavesdropping on us? When you have an open conversation under the roof you share with me, I'm bound to hear it, Jackson. I never have any privacy in this house. You do. Vanya purposely had that conversation with you in a space where she knew that I was going to hear you both. Enough! I've heard enough bad-mouthing about my mother. Do you know how disgusting that is? Excuse me? All day, every day for the past 12 years, all I've heard from you is how my mother is some sort of evil being that's out to get you. Do you never think about what that makes me feel like? Oh, of course I do. I would have something nice to say about Vanya if she just treated me nicely. She has always openly shown her disapproval of me, and I was just confiding in you about it. My mom had no problem with you. You created the whole thing and she had to get defensive. Are you being serious? Do you not remember what she was like the first time I ever met her? We just caught her when she was having a bad day. But forget about that for now. Let's talk about the real issue here. You cheated on me. Do you honest to God believe that? Of course I do. Well then, you're a damn fool to believe that mumbo jumbo. Are you trying to tell me that my mother is lying to me? Jackson, I work 10 hours a day. When I'm not working, I'm looking after the kids and doing other chores. I barely go out of the house to meet anyone. The few times that I do, I share my location with you. So when in the world would I have the time to cheat on you? How about when you're working, huh? How do I know that you're actually working in the hours that you claim that you are? If I was skipping out on work to cheat on you, don't you think that would have reflected in my pay? Look, I don't care what you say. My mom's right. You will find some way or other to defend yourself. So, is this it? You're going to choose your mother's irrational theory over the truth? How do I even know that the kids are mine? How long have you been cheating on me, huh? You're insane. You only stayed with me because you need the money. I know it. I make more than you. What are you talking about? I don't want to deal with you anymore. This conversation has shown me enough. I'm leaving. Leaving? What about the kids? You can't just leave us. See if I care. Keep your children to yourself. Goodbye. I think I became numb somewhere in the middle of the conversation, because once it was done, I only hazily remembered Jackson getting out of bed and grabbing his getaway suitcase. I didn't even react. I just watched him walk out of our life. I lay down in my bed and just stared at the ceiling until I eventually fell asleep. The next morning I woke up and I hoped and prayed that the previous night had only been some sort of fevered dream, but that was not the case, as even after the day ended, Jackson never came back home. I tried to contact him, but I quickly realized that he had blocked my number on all my social media accounts. The next few weeks passed by in a haze. I don't really remember how I even got through them. I didn't tell anyone about it until I was served with divorce papers from Jackson. I think that was when I truly broke down. At that point, I reached out for help. My kids were devastated that their father was not coming back, and it took months and months of both therapy and me assuring them that they were not the reason for their father's departure. I never got to see or hear from Jackson after that. I struggled a lot. I had to work even harder to support my kids and me. I didn't only want to work, I wanted to spend time with my children as well. Needless to say, I was beyond exhausted. About 2 years after Jackson left us, my parents offered to take the children on a trip to Disneyland so I could get some time alone. They offered to do it because they retired around then and they were very concerned about how I was doing. In that time, I finally got to go out and socialize with my friends. I took my very overdue paid time off and went on a girls' trip with my friends, nothing too far away, just to the beach side. It was there that I met my current husband. I didn't think that I would ever be able to fall in love again, but he was just so gentle and caring. He respected every single boundary I had and did not even bat an eye when I told him I had 2 kids. We exchanged numbers and our relationship slowly grew. We met up on weekends and I slowly began to fall for him over the next year. We dated for around 3 years and I knew that I was right to say yes to him when he proposed because my kids were already calling him Dad. He had done more for them in the 3 years he knew them than Jackson had ever done. We got married shortly after he proposed to me, and life suddenly got so much better. That was until after a year of us being married. Jackson texted me. I'm not going to lie, but I was beyond shocked when I got his text. Suddenly I was flooded with memories of the past, but my husband encouraged me to see what the text was about. Jackson essentially told me that he had something important to tell me and asked me to meet up. With my husband's consent and with a lot of hesitation, I agreed. We decided to meet at a local cafe that weekend. Hey, thanks for agreeing to meet up with me. I'm only giving you 15 minutes to say what you have to. Still, I'm grateful that you went out of your way to meet me. Don't be too happy about it. I happen to be grocery shopping, which is why I said okay to this. Don't waste your time trying to be nice right now. Okay, look. Mom and I went out to drink the other day and she confessed something to me. I'm happy for you. What does this have to do with me? Well, she told me that she lied about you cheating on me, that she just wanted you out of the way, which is why she made all that up. Oh well, the past is in the past. Is that all? Yes, but I'm really sorry for the way that I treated you. I shouldn't have left you that way, especially with our kids. My kids. You signed away your parental rights, or did you forget? Sure, but biologically they're still mine. Who gives a crap about biology? Clearly, you didn't at that time. Don't bring up that argument right now. Okay, my bad. I just wanted to apologize. I didn't want there to be any bad blood between us. Is there any way that I can make it up to you? You know, I still love you. What are you even saying right now? You have another family. I know, it's just ever since Mom confessed, I can't help but think about what my life would have been like if I just trusted you. I miss you every single day, you know. I don't care. You should continue to listen to your mother and stay away from me and my kids forever. Oh, come on now, Jess. Don't you miss us? I know you got remarried, but that guy can't be anything like me, right? You're right. He's nothing like you. He's in fact 100 times better than you. He's every bit the man that you failed to be to me and my kids. He can't be our kid's father, I am. Get over yourself. Go back to your current family. Stop wondering about the past. Please, just tell me if there's any way that I can make it up to you. I promise I've changed now. The only way for you to make it up to me is to leave me and my family the hell alone. Bye. This isn't over, Jessica. I was furious. I didn't know why I expected any better from that meeting. But I can tell you that I did not expect Jackson to tell me that he was still in love with me. Before I went to meet him, I did my research on him and found out that he got married to another woman just months after our divorce was finalized. He had 3 children with her. Yet here he was, professing his love for me. Aside from the anger, I also felt sad for his wife. I couldn't believe that he was stringing along someone else. The irony of him, at the very least, emotionally cheating on his current wife was not lost on me. I did not want to be the other woman, regardless of whether I consented to it or not. Luckily, I had a gut instinct to record our conversation. Before I entered the cafe, I started recording and I placed my phone on the table. I sent that recording to his wife after I found her account through his. I never got a reply from her, but I blocked everyone that was related to him, including him. I completely forgot about everything that had happened until about 1 month later when I got a call from an unknown number. It was you! Who is this? Are you being serious right now? You have the wrong number? Do not play with me right now, Jessica. It's me, Jackson. Oh, what do you want? You recorded our conversation and sent it to my wife. Oh, right. I forgot I did that. Why would you ruin my life like this? Wasn't that what you were trying to do anyway? You were the one begging me to take you back and telling me how you still loved me. I told you that in confidence. Why in the world would you think that we have that kind of a relationship where you can confide in me? You destroyed that the second you started believing your mother. Is that what this was? A sick way to get back at me? No, this was me saving another woman from what I had to go through. At least this way, she'll have the upper hand and people will believe her when she tells them that her husband was a douchebag. You monster. Cry me a river, Jackson. You destroyed my life. Do you even know how hard it was to raise 2 kids all on my own? Do you even know how many people I lost thanks to you and Vanya? This is literally the least that you could get as payback. We could have talked about this like mature adults, but no, you had to go all crazy ex on me. I was just looking out for your wife. Oops, ex-wife. Besides, why should I talk to you when you refused to do that with me? You cared more for a stranger than for the man you built a life with for 12 years. That man made my life hell, so naturally I'd care for anyone else above him. I will make your life hell. Try me. I have way more dirt on you than you'd like to think. If you ever come near me or my family, best believe I will get the cops involved. Goodbye. I didn't actually have any more dirt on him, but I just wanted him off my tail. And it worked. At least it took some more threatening for him to stop. Jackson continued to pester me for a while over text and call, but I ignored all of them. Of course, I felt super good that I was able to give him back what he had done for me. Not to mention, I did feel bad for his soon-to-be ex-wife. While I had never been cheated on before, I did know what it was like to be hurt by Jackson. While she would be hurt for a little while, I knew that the hurt that she would feel would never be near the kind of hurt she would feel if she actively caught him trying to woo me. Eventually, I began to forget about what had happened because I saw no reason for me to keep thinking about it. I moved on with my life once again, except this time I felt a lot freer. It felt like I had resolved something big and I was able to finally live well. If you're wondering why I'm telling you this story now, months after everything with Jackson died down, after I also just told you that I completely forgot about it, let me tell you why. After about 6 months after my last interaction with Jackson, I got one last text from Jackson. He told me that his divorce was finalized and that he was forced to go back to living with his mother. I couldn't help but feel happy that he ended up in the same place that fought to be in all throughout our marriage, in his mother's arms. I guess life just always has a way of working out, and I'm glad mine worked out this wonderfully. Thanks for listening.